Right. So maybe Ben, if you can share the presentation, go to the next slide. I mean,
You want to know?
oh,
We've
sorry,
got. So we
correct.
start.
Yeah, let's start.
Okay, cool. Tons of topics for today, so let's go through quite quickly so we don't run out of time. I think the first couple are mine around marketing and growth, so I might dive straight into those if that's okay. Thanks everyone for joining. So just quickly, because this is kind of last week's news,
Oh, sorry,
but you should have
we
all.
don't see the slides, right? We're
Sorry?
not seeing we're not seeing the slides right now, do we?
Oh, you can't
Yeah,
see my screen?
I can see I can see your screen. It's fine.
Oh yeah. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Like that.
Go ahead, Ben.
Okay, cool. So look, I won't spend too much time on the enhanced referral system and host printables. You should have all received your EDM about this last week. I know I've been chatting with some of you. I think that seems to be working. We've had good feedback so far. The host printables portal is live. Please make sure you use this URL here on this slide, drivemate.rproshop.com.au. There was a previous link we shared that wasn't quite as secure, so use this one. And just a reminder that all of the stickers are customizable. So the default, they say scan to rent my car, but if you want to put that on a van or an SUV, you go into the portal, you click on the little box, like so there where it says scan to rent my SUV, you get a drop down and you select car, van, ute, or SUV. So you could customize it based on your fleet. And more importantly, make sure you use your own QR code so that when people scan it, they come to your listings with your referral and discount. Um, and the default QR code in the printables portal just takes to DriveMate's homepage, which still works for users, but it doesn't take them to your cars with your referral. So that's really important. Anyone who wants any more designs, so at the moment we've got flyers and 3 or 4 different styles and sizes of stickers. If there's anything else anybody wants, message me, and if we get a few people asking, I will add more templates to that portal. It's a very live, editable resource. Okay, so lots of questions around demand growth and marketing. Look, I have to say, our trip numbers and numbers of trip days have been growing steadily. We've had nine weeks of consistent and healthy growth week on week. Look, as you know, we can't share the full details, but I can say that in October we had double the number of trip days of September, and September was already a huge step up from August before the UCS news. So we've had week on week growth, month on month growth. Our SEO rankings climbing. I know some of you have sent me little bits of feedback to say we're showing up really nicely in Google, which is always great. We've got an SEO agency that is working away furiously, and I know our metrics there are improving again week on week. Creative is a huge focus at the moment. We wanted our creative to be stronger, and I think we're getting into that now. You will see, I think, a better quality, a better class of creative coming through over the next week or two. We test all the ads that we run. We're constantly A/B testing and seeing what works. The strongest ones so far have been user-generated content videos. So we're going to expand that, working with some different demographics at the moment. The content creators were on the young side, so we've balanced that out with a slightly older lady. We've got a family, we've got a younger family, we've got an older family. You know, we're really making sure that we cover the broad demographics, which, as we know, makes up the user base of DriveMate. And also, as we head towards summer and head towards summer holidays, we will run ads. Talking about specific usage occasions. So whether that's a road trip or a beach trip or driving up into the mountains, we'll make sure that we highlight those specific occasions, but we also don't want to lose sight of part of the DNA of DriveMate is our variety of vehicles. So that little graphic at the bottom there, adventure, transport, family, escape, trade, DriveMate, that actually exists as quite a cool animation. So we're going to use that animation to run across multiple different ads. So the ad might be showing a beach day, but the animation will remind anyone seeing that we actually have a whole variety of different vehicles as well. We still talk about messaging like fair pricing, but there's a whole world beyond just fair pricing, which we're a lot of levers to pull, which we are working on, and we will keep you posted. Obviously, we hope you're seeing demand. We've heard lots of positive feedback from hosts that are things like quality of pictures and listings. We know is a good driver. We'll also probably on the next one of these seminars share some info on which types of cars and vans and SUVs and whatever are being used more and are more in demand. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Ben, for that. I think the rest of the slides we want to share some more things on what we've seen, and also some of the concerns that were shared by you guys. And so the first thing, with the demand that we've seen improving, right? There's also some growth pains that we've seen, yeah, because in the end, what it means is we have received, of course, people that drove excess kilometers that needs to be disputed, needs to be raised by you. That means we receive tickets in the system, which is all good. But we've seen, because of the spike in demand, and we shared this 2 weeks ago as well, we've also just seen many more cases we need to resolve, many more tickets. Now we are doing that, and we do what we can with it, but it also means the reality at the moment is that we have been delaying certain responses, not because we want to delay it, but just because of the sheer volume. And we understand that it's frustrating, right? It's frustrating for you, and we want to serve you in the best possible way. So that's also therefore very frustrating for us. We analyze the situation. It's not just, let's say, more demands leading to more cases, but it's also, when you get this, we want to look at how does a system really work? Can we simplify certain things? We were on a sort of track to do that, but what happened when the news from Uber came, we said, okay, let's build this roadmap, what we have discussed in the last couple of weeks, where we said we need to make sure that, for example, first we get the hardware from UCS working with us, focus fully on that, and that means working on efficiencies in the core and resolution team processes that took a bit of a backseat there, right? So what we basically know is that our current support system is not good enough. What we have done to solve this is first of all, we hired more people, and of course those people we need to train. Some of them, they came actually around 10 or so. They came from Uber, so they knew how the Uber system worked, but our system was slightly different. So we need to train them. That's right now happening, and that means for us, every time we look at what are the big topics, how can we train them so they don't have to pass on to a specific team. And that is also one of the frustrations that you shared with us. Like, hey, I'm speaking to someone, they say, bear with me. I directed it to a certain team, and they will help you. And then it took time, right? Because it was just clogging the system. Right now, we're confident that because we see it already happening, that the number of cases are coming down that are outstanding. So that means we are resolving cases, and we try to train the people to resolve easy things themselves straight away. And whatever they cannot do directly, they need to pass to the right team. Second thing that we do with the changing of system is that we're going to create tickets for everything. Right now, we have one ticket with multiple cases. So if you have people didn't fill up the tank and they drove too many kilometers, then you create it as one ticket per trip, and it can be done more efficiently when we are creating separate tickets for each, and that's right now what's being done, and then we'll close those tickets. We expect it in mid-November, in 2 weeks' time. We will clear the backlog that we currently have. Now, and this is all on us, right? So in the end, we try to get this done better. One thing that we would like to ask you, and I know that is difficult, but if you can help us in one way, to not also when you can try to not send the same message on different channels to us, because what we see is that then people are working on all these different systems, whether it's WhatsApp or whether it's a Facebook group or whether it's on our own chat or an email, that we see sometimes it's difficult to match all these different communication for people. So if there's a case, please check it. We will pick it up for sure, and we want to reassure you that, because sometimes we get these type of questions like, yeah, I'm still waiting for a payout for this or that. Yes, we have a backlog, but we will handle all cases. Certain, right? That is for sure. We can guarantee that. Next slide, Ben. So what we'll do early December, right, is we are going to have a couple of changes, and one of them is we are revamping our support system, so Support 2.0. That means we're going to bring much more visibility to you, control. You'll have ticket numbers for each case, so it can be tracked easily in the app. What we will basically do, all the conversations that come in, they will be converted to tickets. You can track it in the app as mentioned, and that means at every point in time you can see where we are with the ticket. You get automatic updates on the progress and resolution. So that will happen in early December. The second thing that happens that will also help with the number of cases is we are changing the pricing system. So that means it will simplify your own driver-made experience. Also, what you're used to with Uber, that's what we're doing with daily pricing, hourly pricing, and also distance pricing, which will include fuel. So that means you will not have to create any tickets for us that fuel is missing, because you're going to be paid for it anyway, right? What will happen is if a guest will fill up the tank and they claim it from us, then we get that ticket, but it will be much less from our end. It also means that you don't need to no longer need to manage your excess mileage. Late returns, same thing, will be handled automatically, and I mean within the system. Still, with late returns, we need to do things to make sure that the car comes back, speaking to the guests, etc. But from a payment and payout point of view, you don't have to worry about that. Monthly payouts with detailed statements, including the ABN, also from early December. And what we say right now, if you have certain cases that we need something with an ABN right now, we can provide it per trip, but it will be in the monthly overviews from the start of December. And this basically means that our own system on tracking it, on working more efficiently, including, let's say, how the entire pricing system will change and the number of tickets will change there as well, that will reduce the response times. So again, for another 2 weeks or so, we don't want to say too much, bear with us, but the coming 2 weeks, we're still clearing the backlog. And we are definitely seeing that it's coming down fast. So in 2 weeks' time, we'll be up to date, and then response times will be much shorter. A couple of main things that were shared as improvements, and of course there's a longer list, and we know we have a roadmap that we're working on. But one thing is the trip extension fixes. Right, we know we have certain issues still with trip extensions. Mid-November, that will also be ready. Auto plug, automated and automatic locking of the car after a trip. That will be by end of November. We'll have that ready as well. So that means if at that time we update the app, that will be there, and a car after a trip will also just lock automatically. And also you will get access to it as a host to the lock-in and unlocking itself during a trip. Now, when it comes to GPS trackers, yeah, we have had a few cases which of late returns where sometimes it becomes very difficult to from a safety point of view to track where the car is, because if there's no GPS, we don't know, and we can see what the addresses are that people have given, and what we know from that, and from there we can look for cars. But what we basically want to do, and the primary reason for it is, if you don't have a GPS tracker, right? One is the safety part of what I just mentioned. But the second thing, and that is also important, especially with the updated pricing model, is that all the cars need to be trackable for us to auto-calculate how many kilometers were driven, so we can auto-calculate how many kilometers are driven, and then we can charge the guest and pay you out. So two things: safety part. It's really important to have a tracker, and that means you need to have it, because otherwise it's also just not covered for theft during trips. If there is no tracker, there's no way for us to really find it, right? So therefore, it's really important to sign up for what we want to do. Sign up for the Good Mates plan, or if you want to have AutoPlug, for the Best Mates plan. We'll send you the devices, or we schedule the installation. That's what we need to do. So don't rent out a car if you don't have a GPS. I think that is the important thing. And go as quickly as you can to the Good Mates or Best Mates plan, so we, from December onwards, can make this new system work with pricing with kilometer charging. Yeah, and the last thing, sorry, here is AirTags. They are not considered qualifying GPS, right? Now with AutoPlug, we started installing some of them. In last week was the first week. We did 30 installs. Others have been scheduled. So just let us know if you want to have an AutoPlug. Just select the Best Mates plan for that listing, and then we will check if the car is eligible, and then schedule the installation wherever you are. Thank you. On BBI, on the fleet insurance, we have the first set of cars that we have gone live since October 1st. And that means that the commission for their trips have gone to 15%. We did see some technical issues on calculating our 15% for certain cars, which has been fixed. But even if let's say some people say, hey, I am on BBI, I do pay for it, but I still see that I'm being charged 25%, just reach out to us. What we will certainly do, we will refund you for the difference for the eligible trips. So that we also calculate backwards, right? So if we know, oh, you had a trip on the 10th of October till the 12th of October and you were charged 25%, but you were on BBI already, you paid for it, then we will pay the difference to you still. It's also possible to cancel BBI, like any subscription. But that cancellation that will apply end of the month. So let's say if in the middle of the month you cancel your BBI, that means for that month of November, let's say you have already paid, and that means you don't get a refund, but you will just be insured on a BBI cover until the end of the month. That means all the trips that are taking place and have completed in November, they are on the 15% charge. Everything thereafter, if you've cancelled it, will just be on the 25%. Yeah, and the roadmap, yeah, we see more and more things becoming green, which is good. What we've done in October, we again increased some investment, and as we're happy to see that some of the hosts said, hey, it seems that demand is right now at good levels, but of course we want to do more and more, but it is happening right now. Fleet insurance did go live, what we said. Integration of the hardware, obviously, that is done, and all the mapping problems that we had, they seem to be resolved as far as we know. If certain people still see that the GPS is not in line with where the car really is, just let us know, then we can try to fix that. We are with installations of AutoPlug, we've done that. DriveMate Go itself, 3.0, Yeah, that is going slower than expected. We have a few hiccups for let's say getting the devices here in Australia. But when that is done, it works the same as AutoPlug anyway. But then we will share that with you. Yeah, and that is all that we have. And for November, you see what we are currently doing. Now we just talked about a few things already when it comes to trip extensions. We are right now obviously working very hard on the new pricing model 2.0, the customer support work that we are working on. Faster, cleaner view of trips, current and past. That's what you will see, and that's what we're doing and what's in the plan for November. And we'll keep you updated on this. So I don't know if there's any questions. Probably there has been, but I've not seen them. So Gaurav, are there any questions that
No, I
I can answer?
the question is somebody's called Your Destiny. I don't know what their real name is, but they are asking about DriveMed field trials. And I think they can already answer that question, that the field trials have for Australia, not for Singapore, for Australia have been delayed a little bit. We're still conducting field trials in Singapore as we speak. The Australia field trials have been delayed a little bit, and so we'll keep you guys updated by the next webinar. Hopefully, we'll have more to share on that one. But in the meanwhile, if you want to go on an AutoPlug for keyless, I don't think that impacts anybody's lives. If you want to get to keyless access technologies, just let us know. Our team will install the AutoPlug straight away for you.
Yes.
Now, this somebody has this question on this logbook codes not generating. Now, that's concerning, that if you have a working logbox and the codes are not generating. So if I can request you to send me on my email, gaurav.s@DriveMed. I'll just send you my email address. Can you just send me the details of, while you would have sent it to support, and I'm assuming it has not worked. So I've just sent you my email ID. If you can just send me an email with your details, I will have it personally looked into the logbox codes thing. I think Stephanie is asking on this difference between AutoPlug and DriveMed Go. Not really much. DriveMed Go is our own. AutoPlug is from a supplier. That's a big difference. They both do the same thing practically. Yeah.
What else do we see?
Yeah.
What are we doing about communication? Yesterday, guest was asking me about locking the car. Turns out they didn't realize they were supposed to lock and unlock through the app. Another guest brought the car back late twice. Had to cancel 2 other bookings. I'm not sure if they didn't fully understand the obligations.
Let me answer this question. So, see, what happens is that our system automatically locks the car if the pickup drop-off process has been followed. Now, what sometimes happens is that the guests don't follow the pickup, and not to blame them. I mean, we are also revamping the pickup drop-off process. It's not the most convenient the way it is right now. So what ends up happening is, if they have not followed the pickup drop-off process, at the end of the trip, the car does not get auto-locked. So they have to lock it themselves through the app. Now, the new system that we are implementing, we're pretty much going by what UCS used to do, and we figured out from their team is what will get implemented is our system will lock the car every 60 minutes if the ignition is off. So our system will check for your car every hour. And at the end of the hour, it will check if the ignition has been off for more than 60 minutes. And if it has, it will lock the car automatically. This is to ensure two things. It will ensure that your car is secure just accidentally, even during a trip, if the guest leaves it unlocked, right, during a trip, then we lock it, right? Of course, we always check whether the ignition has been off for an hour or so, at least an hour. That's one. B, if we do send the lock command, it will do less, because if the car is in a locked state, the auto plug will consume less battery of the car. So that is the second thing. So that change of locking the car, auto locking the car every hour if the ignition is off, That change is expected in the next 2 to 3 weeks, and that will happen along with the fact that we'll give guest hosts the ability to lock the car while the car is on a trip. So currently you lose access to the manage access page if the car is on a trip. That will, as we promised, I think 2 weeks back, we promised, and the team is still working on many other things along with this, is to give hosts the ability to lock and unlock the car during a trip, not view the location during a trip. So that is what I think. Hopefully, Alan, that answers your question.
I see also a question on, I've signed up for the key installation to rent it out, but you haven't heard from us for the scheduling. I don't know in which area you are, but we have scheduled we have made a list, let's say, on scheduling, and I assumed that by today everybody would have received the schedule for installation, if your car is eligible. So maybe because I see a name, but I don't know what the email ID is. Maybe you can share with us what your email ID is, and then we can have a look what it is, and then we'll get back to you today.
Yeah, if I can add to that, everyone who registered for Autoplug will get comms sent out this week, so you will know even if your car is not compatible.
But in the meantime, so I don't know what the situation is, but even if you get our GPS, let's say, you can rent out your car. Yeah, then that means you need to provide the key to the person. That is possible. But if, let's say, in case your car is not compatible, that is also a possibility. But yeah, hopefully your car is eligible and we can just install the device.
A couple of questions that some hosts kindly sent through before the session, which I'm going to quickly answer. Several people asked about the $12 a day trip fee and what that will look like from December onwards. We don't have the answer for you on that today, but by the next host session, so 2 weeks from now, we will clarify how that's going to work.
Yeah, but one thing we can say anyway, there is, because we understand what we want to do is we want to make this, of course, attractive for guests, so you can get good conversion and people want to rent, and at the same time we want to make this attractive for you as hosts from a total earnings point of view, and we want to make sure that the platform is also can work sustainably, right? So what we will look at in the end is how can we make that work for all three parties. In that. So what we are looking at right now is the UCS pricing model. We also know that with UCS, they had different tiers for hosts, like whether it's a 40% commission or 25% commission. So you had different levels. For us, it's 25%. So maybe then it comes from somewhere else, but we need to see what that total price is. What we are going to do, and we'll share that as well, is if you have different use cases, what would be the price for the guest, how much would be the earnings for the host, and how does that look like, and how does it look like for the different platforms. And then yeah, one thing that you can be assured of is that we will be competitive, right? Because that's the only thing that we can do from a customer's perspective.
Cool, thank you. The other question I've had a couple of times this week is around statements and financial statements, which Dirk-Jan touched on earlier. Those will be part of the new system from December, but it's also important to note that those will be retrospective. So any current transactions, any way you have transacted with DriveMate that you need a tax statement for, we will supply that.
Yeah. Farhan, one question to you from Daniel. Can we get Farhan to share some of his plans regarding security issues like repossession, blocking bad guests, etc.?
Yeah, really good question. So we're doing a couple of things. One is prevention. The other is actually, making sure we have ways to get cars back once a bad actor slips through. So yeah, we're reviewing our current verification process, which again is good, but I think there are improvements that can be made. So we're taking a closer look at that behind the scenes and updating it. We're also revamping the entire process internally as well when something goes wrong. And there's basically a lot happening behind the scene. I don't know if I'll have the time to go through specific details, but yeah, in the next session, happy to share more details on what's exactly happening on those two fronts.
Is there an inconvenience fee in play for flat batteries incorrectly parked? And if so, can we have some visibility to these? Now we incorrectly parked, then yeah, it could be maybe in different ways. But if it is parked, let's say, and there is an infringement, obviously, what we do is there's an inconvenience fee for that. This is a question from Sandy. So there's an inconvenience fee. So you can nominate the guest. We'll provide the details. Nominate the guest. You get an inconvenience fee.
I think that's a very good point Sandy makes. Yeah, perhaps we can make our fee schedule a lot more visible so that it's transparent for hosts and guests. I think that's something that we can do quite easily.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think just in general, one of the things that we are working on and is let's say also from our help center, we have updated the help center to make it clearer that it's easy to navigate what's for hosts, what's for guests. But what will happen in the coming weeks, I would say, or until the end of the year, we are looking at all these things. How can we make it more specific, clearer? Getting these overviews, and that's not just for inconvenience fees, but just in general, where sometimes there is some room for, let's say, different interpretations. We want to clarify that, and that's also what we're working on in the coming weeks. So when we have done that, we'll share it with you as well.
I might just jump in quickly, and just say something about the help center. And we're trying not to bombard hosts with too much information. Oh, we've just done this, we've done that. The help center we're constantly updating, so new information goes into that 3 or 4 times a week. If you do have a question or an issue, if you go to our help page and say it's a shackle code, just type shackle in the search box. That's a really, really good place to start looking. I'm not saying it's got all the answers, but there's a lot of stuff that goes in there that we don't necessarily shout about in these sessions or on the Facebook page. So for example, last week we tightened up the interior wear and tear policy. So if you now go to the help center and type wear and tear, you've now got more depth on that. So the help center is a really great place to start. And then obviously if you don't get the answers you need there, then keep looking and come and ask us. But it's a great starting point.
Yeah.
I think there is one question which has been asked a couple of times, and Peter asks that question right now on allowing hosts to blacklist guests. That's definitely a new feature request for us to. We've heard that before, yes. Guests, you want to block out certain guests. Let's take that as a point, and we come back. We don't have that in the roadmap till the end of December, to be really honest. Because currently all our energies are going behind, bulk of our energies are going behind with the new charging system that we spoke about earlier. But this is certainly, we believe, is an important step to weed out, for you to weed out bad borrowers. We take a note of that point. I also just want to say one more thing on, somebody did mention having experience with bad borrowers, so bad guests. We do acknowledge that, and as Farhan said, there are multiple changes being done as we speak to tighten the verification system, right? So prevent it in the first place, prevent bad things from happening. And you will see over the next couple of days, you will see us tightening it even more to make sure that bad apples don't slip through.
Yeah, and there's probably 2 different levels of that. There's a guest who you, for whatever reason, you might not want to rent your own car, but they're fine to stay on the platform, and there's a guest where you've got a valid reason that they should come off the platform. So we'll look at both of those cases. But if you've got someone who you think falls into that second category, you don't need to wait till December. Contact us and tell us why you think they shouldn't be on the platform, and we will look into it.
And right now that's already happening as well, even if you don't say so. Right? We have also in the last month seen that people were showing behavior that we don't want to tolerate on our platform, then we ban them, obviously, right? So bad guests, they get banned. But we also need your help if you see certain things that we don't see and feel like, hey, this is important information about a certain guest, then we'd like to know because we can take action. What else is there? Okay, so guests have trouble locking my auto plug cars. Support told me that guests need to send a drop-off request for my approval so they can end the trip and lock my car. Only 1 in 20 guests have asked me for a drop-off approval. Yes, that is Michael. That is a good point, and we've heard that before, and that is a behavior. We try to educate people. We message them what they need to do, what's expected, but still, not everybody does that. So one of the things that we do is we're going to do auto locking, let's say after the end of a trip, and that will be as later in this month.
Yeah. So let me just first say this again, that auto locking after trips happens even now. But when guests don't follow the pickup drop off, that is where the problem is. Now we are going to take this whole requirement of doing pickup drop off, and somebody else also asked this question: do I need to we need to confirm pickup and drop off requests? No, we are going to completely automate that. So hosts, even on GoodMates, currently on BestMates only, you have to do pickup drop off request approvals. On GoodMates, even on GoodMates, you will not have to do that at all. That is something that we're going to change. Those minor fixes will happen. Even today, if a guest sends a drop-off request, the car does get auto-logged in the system. However, there are many cases wherein people don't do it. And that's where we are trying to go around the system and make sure that your car is always locked. If it is switched off, let's say the ignition is not on for an hour, we want to make sure the car is always locked, right? Just to ensure safety of the car.
Yeah. Okay, there's also a question on the message communication with guests during trip, so they do the right things. Yeah, we do send out certain things for sure. And we are looking at what we can do to improve certain things. One of the things for sure is, and it didn't happen with UCS, what I saw in the message from the message here, but the one thing is people also get into a certain behavior of not refueling because that is what they did if they were used to that with Uber, for example. We are sending the messages, still some people don't do it, right? So yeah, it's apparently not very easy to change behavior in certain cases, but one thing that we do, if there are certain ideas on how we can improve that, we will have a look. First of all, we'll have a look ourselves at all the processes that we have and what we can communicate in app to improve those numbers. That's one. The second thing is with the change of the pricing model, we'll also sort certain things because it's more aligned to what people were used to.
A question that's just sort of popped up in our Facebook chat is whether DriveMate charges fees to guests for damage on top of the actual repair cost of the damage.
Sorry, can you say it again?
does DriveMate charge fees to guests for damage on top of the hard cost of the repair, the quoted cost of the repair?
No.
Okay.
However, it is something that we might introduce.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so right now that's not the case. So we don't. But this is a question if we should or because certainly yeah, there is time that we use, let's say, that is spent from our customer team to get things done. Certain costs they are on top. If a car needs to be towed, for example, yeah, then the car needs to be towed and there is also damage, then also the towing needs to be paid for. But let's say the total cost right now, that's basically what we currently do.
Okay.
We ask the total cost.
So yeah, just referring to this message that I'm seeing, if you feel that if you're seeing some fees or something that looks like fees on top of the damage cost, please contact us and ask us to break that down.
Yeah. I mean, look, we first of all in our help center, we write down everything how charges are and what is the fee for DriveMate and so on. So we try to make that clear. The one thing that was just said about this previous thing on inconvenience fees and get clarity on that. Yeah, we're going to make it clear, but we do have it on the help center. We are not doing that differently. I think I assume that that's the question. We show everything on the help center, and you can just see what the fees are that we charge. Yeah, then one question from JP on in the event of an accident, if a borrower damages 2 cars or 3 cars, does that mean multiple lots of excess? Yes, if you do that is per incident that you have, there is an excess. So I don't know how that is. Yeah, if there are, let's say somebody damages a car and then drives in and damages another car, is 2 incidents, yeah, then there is twice an excess for sure. All right. I've had a bad experience with dodgy customers hiring my car. We're looking for better screening. Yes, answer is yes. That's what we always look at, right? On how we can do that better. Both of my cars are with our lock boxes due to bad customers. So maybe your lock boxes are stolen by the customer. It's also missing primary GPS. I need to get these cars back earning money, and I'm reluctant to get new lock boxes. When do you think a good to get the new auto plug and primary GPS? I'm in Newcastle. Yeah, I see that Fahan is typing an answer, but I would say we are scheduling those. So yeah, Newcastle we also install obviously. So yeah, we'll just get back to you on and that will be this week. What we say when we can, if your car is eligible, that's one. Number 2, when it can be done. What's the story about extension approval? Do we really need to confirm? Yes, as we mentioned, we are relooking at the pickup and drop off process and also with extensions. So yeah, when that's
so
live.
when extension fixes goes live, you will not be if your car is on instant booking, you will not be required to approve an extension request. If your car is
but you need to tick instant booking then, right, for your car. Yes.
That is not live yet. I mean, when the trip extension fixes, as Durkan was talking about in the roadmap, when that goes live, you will be able to then if your car is on instant booking, then auto acceptance of extension requests.
Okay. The app is unfriendly. They find it difficult to make bookings, and I sent a screenshot and there's no response from us. Yeah, I think we try to respond to everything, obviously, but we're also at the same time we need to see where we send this to get it actioned. If there are certain specific things that are unfriendly, of course, there are certain things that we know that we can improve. But then share them and we'll have a look at it and prioritize those changes in app in the roadmap. And that's the roadmap that we're sharing with you, that you see here in front of you. If there are certain things, just let us know and we'll have a look for sure.
I think one of the big points, and that should not be underestimated, which will get definitely sorted with of course, there are many things that we need to do on the platform, as you guys have mentioned. But one of the big things which will happen with the new pricing system is that a lot of your minor I won't call them minor, a lot of the irritants with regards to excess mileage, late returns will go out of the window. That's one. And few that will also go out the window. And secondly, with support 2.0 coming in, which is, as we speak, is being designed and implemented, a lot of your tracking of issues will also become much easier, which we realize currently is not the best, as Durkan mentioned. So we are also picking up the big things to fix first, right? And as you have seen in the last 2 months, we have make sure that we try and focus on the big ones first and get that out. Hardware integration, yes, I do acknowledge that some issues here and there do keep on happening, but we can all agree that hardware integration has largely settled now. But yes, there are some things that we need to still fix there, especially on the autoclick blocking. But our goal is to get the big thing out, which is right now the whole new pricing system, the support system.
Yeah. Question from Sandy on cars that are not returned by guests don't seem to be prioritized. It's simply being told that they're being escalated to the resolutions team. Does DriveMate have a security team that's dealing with these issues as a matter of urgency? That is an interesting thing, Sandy, and that's what we are rolling out. And that means that is basically a copy from how UCS did that. No surprise that Farhan had a big role to play here on how that's going to be, and that means also our damages and claims and security team that's being managed from Australia. So yeah, that is being done, and that's actually live this week. But that that doesn't make it any worse. Let's say that for some people they have returned cars late, and yeah, we've seen cases here. We are working on them, but we're going to make improve this, and I feel we'll see how that goes in a few weeks, but improve this in a big manner. All right. I had an issue with another platform from a borrower putting fake fuel dockets and got charged to me until I complained and got a refund 3 weeks after. We don't want to get the complaints all the time and I didn't get paid. In the end, we have the system that is working to get the things paid out. Hopefully you're not too concerned that the money will be paid out. We're doing it, as said. When we are completely cleared of the backlog, then the standard process will go in, and that means when something happens, when proof is provided, we look at the dispute and resolve it and pay out when required. So yeah, that's what we need to do. And then what I mean to say is, it's not that because of a complaint that then we start working on things. No, it's not like that. It just needs to go through the system, and we'll work through all the different disputes that come with the many trips that we do. Wait a second. Is there anything that I missed here? What is the protocol in relation to guests picking up a vehicle, and why is there no interior photos required for pickup and drop off? Also, what information is given to guests in relation to cleaning vehicle and replenish of fuel? Every car I had borrowed came back with less fuel and or dirty.
Yeah, so let me take that question. So first of all, we are now going to make interior photos also required with the new pickup drop off. That's one. Second is that the replenishment of fuel goes out of the window because when we move to the new charging system, refueling to the original level is not required, right? Because we'll be charging them for time and distance. That includes fuel as well. So that should be taken care of with that fully. And with regards to cleanliness, we are just going to introduce another mechanism wherein the guests will have to rate the car at the time they started the trip to put pressure on to make sure that the cleanliness of the car is well captured and documented.
I think I misunderstood a previous question on the fuel, fake fuel, or maybe the wrong fuel that was filled. It wasn't a huge issue for me, but some people said it happened a lot. We have not experienced it yet, I think, in the last 2 months. But it can happen. Obviously, we communicate with people. It's also part of the rules of the car that we see what fuel needs to be put in. Yeah, we have not yet experienced it in that sense. When it goes to the new pricing system where fuel is included and the end user host, you can fill it up, right? And that should probably take care of most of the issues if there are. But as I said, we have not experienced it, and so not yet. I would say a problem.
I just had another question I was asked yesterday, which was around the $25 a day compensation after damage, and when that was applicable. And the answer is it's applicable for any full days where your car is not drivable, and any full days where your car is at the garage or the body shop. Is that correct, Okyan?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, cool. Thank you.
Feature request. Can you combine all the guest bookings into one profile for the guests so we can easily track their usage and only have one place to message them? Right now, if a guest does multiple bookings, then each one has its own chat. And it can be easy to mix up where messages are sent. I think that is a good point. That's for sure.
Yeah, so sorry, I'm just trying to understand. I guess they mean the chat between the host and the guest, is it? But I believe that will. I mean, on the face of it, let's just think through this first. I mean, we're not dismissing this straight away, but on the face of it, what it seems like it will cause more confusion than it will solve issues because when you're having a conversation with a guest, you want to have a conversation for that particular trip rather than I'm still not understanding the use case of combining all the bookings and having one chat for all the bookings with the guest for the host. So maybe I don't know who has asked that question. So Alan is saying the chat can get lost. So maybe Alan, what I would suggest, maybe we get on a separate call with you. Maybe Jake and myself will get on a call with you separately on trying to understand what is the particular use case of this feature request. And if it makes sense to all of us and to other hosts, then we just do a quick check with everyone, then we can certainly build this in if it doesn't really indeed make sense.
Yeah, I think, and by the way, keep feature requests coming. You know, sometimes you
Yeah,
guys
of
will
course,
think
of
of
course.
something that we haven't. So definitely keep them coming. We'll look at all of those.
I think Stephanie asked the question. I see it. I think Stephanie asked the question. So maybe you, me, and Jake, we can just get together on that request and just talk through what the requirement is. And because as you can see, we really prioritize the big things first, right? To make sure that they're out. any new feature request that goes in, it needs to make sense for the larger community, right? It makes sense for a majority of the hosts, right? And yeah, so let's have a chat around this.
It'd be a nice problem to have, how we communicate with a guest who's made multiple bookings across multiple cars.
Yeah. All right. EB, from a host perspective, app doesn't give me the basic features that Uber has. It's not pleasant. I left a callback message. I don't get a response. I want to remove my cars because I don't have any bookings. Okay, that is by itself a problem if there's no booking. So we'd like to, and we see that there have been a lot of bookings because we see this overall. So we're not yet sure. Maybe it's good to get on a call. Maybe if you can share your email ID, then we can have a look at your cars, what's happening. Because it's not very common that we have cars that don't get any bookings, and that could be a technical reason for it, or we don't know right now. Let's have a look at it, and then we'll contact you. And if indeed it doesn't make sense for you to be on the platform, yeah, that would be, we wouldn't be happy with that, but then that's what it is. We hope that we can get you the experience that you need. One thing that we say, and that we have said before as well, we are still trying to get better, right? And that means we try to improve. We have a certain foundation. We have thrown overboard some principles, let's say, when it comes to should we stick to the pricing model that we had, or should we try to move into a certain direction, which is something that we're doing. We're trying to do that together with you, hosts, as well. So if there is something that we can do to get this better, or if there are certain things that you don't find friendly, or features that you do need that we don't have right now, just let us know and we can see what we can do. For now, maybe if you can share your email ID, then we can look at your specific cars and why it's not going the way it is supposed to. Okay, what else? Guests have difficulty locating my auto cars, and they expected the car with the